Lots of people make New Year's resolutions, but most of those people either fail or give up. In this video, I'm going to explain the science of why people lose motivation when working on their resolutions, and tell you 3 things that you can do to make sure that you don't give up on yours. Hey, I'm the Improvement Geek, sharing scientific self-improvement to help you achieve your New Year's goals. And speaking of goals, if you think about it, that's all that New Year's resolutions really are. The only thing that sets them apart is the time of year that those goals are made, and that usually brings a little bit of extra motivation to go along with it because of the new year, new me mentality. But the thing is, what typically happens with people that make New Year's resolutions is they start off in January full of motivation and energy and hope, and they start working on it, they start going to the gym, they start running, they start eating better, and somewhere along the way, they quit and they give up. So why exactly is that? Why do we give up on our New Year's resolutions? Well, there's 2 big reasons for that. The first of which is our motivation is largely governed by something called the expectancy theory, which says that we're motivated to do something to the extent that we think that that action will get us the thing that we want. For example, I'm motivated to not eat this entire jar of peanut butter because I believe that not eating this entire jar of peanut butter will help me feel better and be healthier because this thing has like 1,000,000 calories in it. Or on the other hand, if I think that it's not going to matter and I'm going to look and feel the same way even if I chow down on all this tasty creamy peanut butter, then I'm just going to do it and I'm not going to feel any motivation to be resisting that urge. So how does this relate to New Year's resolutions? Well, for example, a common resolution is to lose weight and get in better shape. People typically start off pretty strong with this one, but if somebody doesn't see results after a couple weeks of putting in effort and making better choices, then they just give up entirely. And that's because if you're taking an action but you're not getting the result that you expect, then your brain's just going to say, well, that's not working, so I don't want to do it anymore. And that's what I call the low adherence side of the expectancy theory. If you have low belief in the action getting you what you want, then you're going to have low motivation to keep taking that action, and therefore you're going to have low adherence to the action. Where you want to be is on the good side, the high adherence side of the expectancy theory. I'll tell you how to keep yourself on that side in just a minute. The second reason why a lot of people fail their New Year's resolutions is simply because they don't make a plan. Going back to my example of losing weight and getting in better shape, yeah, people may go sign up for a gym membership or maybe buy some better food, but they don't really put any research into what they need to do to become healthier, and they get kind of lost along the way and they just lose motivation. And as countless motivational Instagram accounts will tell you, failing to plan is really planning to fail. But don't worry, I'll be coming back to how to plan out your goals later on in this video. So now that you know a bit more about why people fail their New Year's resolutions, let's now take a look at 3 things that you can use to make sure that that doesn't happen to you. The first thing you need to do is figure out what your resolutions actually are. Now I know that probably sounds obvious and you probably already have some ideas for resolutions rattling around in your head, but what I'm saying is really dig down into them and really flesh them out. Now what that's going to do is it's going to allow you to break those resolutions, or as I said before, goals, down into smaller sub-goals. The reason why you want to do that is because it'll make it more manageable to your brain and you'll be more motivated and on the better side of the expectancy theory to actually follow through with the actions that you need to take to achieve those sub-goals. And then as you achieve the sub-goals, eventually you'll lead up to achieving the major goal. For example, I've talked about my weight loss goals plenty on this channel. I have a goal of getting down to 180 pounds, which is requiring me to lose about 50 pounds. But instead of focusing on that goal of losing 50 pounds, I broke it down into smaller sub-goals of losing 10 pounds about every month, and that seems a lot more manageable to me. I can really start to focus on that and break down the things that I need to do, and it feels kind of good along the way to be knocking out these sub-goals as I go, instead of putting all of my celebration towards the end when I finally do achieve that 50-pound goal. Once you have your goals and your sub-goals figured out, what I want you to do is to take your first round of sub-goals and write them down on Post-it notes and stick them around on your bathroom mirror, on your computer monitor, and places like that to keep them obvious, to keep reminding yourself of what your goals are. And what this will do is it'll keep your subconscious mind continually working on ways to solve that problem, to help you figure out ways to achieve those sub-goals. Number 2 is making a plan. Like I said earlier, one of the primary reasons why people fail to achieve their goals or their resolutions is because they fail to plan. And if your brain doesn't have any plan to fall back on when you're faced with the prospect of losing 50 pounds or whatever your resolution may be, then you're really going to lose belief that you can achieve that, and therefore you're going to lose motivation and fall off really quickly. So you need to make a plan. Now, depending on what your goals and your sub-goals are, that plan could look different, but I'll keep going along with the weight loss examples that I've been using since that's personally relevant to me. Making an effective plan starts with good research. The easiest way for you to start doing that research is to go to your friendly neighborhood internet browser and just type in how to do whatever it is that you want to do for your resolution. You can find a lot of great resources on the internet, but just be careful you don't fall into the trap of spending all your time researching and learning and hoarding resources instead of actually applying that knowledge. That Google Chrome bookmark of 50 different things isn't really going to help you. Actually going out and using some of that knowledge will help you. When you're just starting out, you don't really need an overly complicated plan. You just need something simple that will get you started and keep you moving. But as you progress, you should be adding on more to that plan. Something I really recommend adding on to your plan as soon as you can is something called implementation intentions, which is really just a scientifically fancy way of saying a plan of if this happens, then I'll do this. If-then plans can be used in a couple different ways. One way is to reinforce things that you were already planning on doing in the first place. For example, if the alarm goes off in the morning, which it will, then I'm just going to get straight out of bed instead of hitting the snooze button and going back to sleep for 5 minutes. The other way they can be used is as kind of a contingency against things that are unexpected. For example, if my coworkers have a birthday party and they bring birthday cake, then I'll just have some coffee or I'll go get a healthier snack like some cashews instead. That's actually really powerful. If you can start making if-then plans, implementation intentions, for the situations and temptations that regularly come up for you, then you're actually going to be a lot more likely to achieve your goals. But don't just take my word for it. A recent meta-analysis of over 200 studies found that people that made implementation intentions were vastly more likely to achieve their goals than people who didn't write down any plan at all. The third thing you should do is to focus on the identity you want to achieve and not just the goals that you want to achieve. Continuing on with my weight loss examples, a common problem that I myself have been constantly guilty of is focusing too hard on the number that they want to lose or want to achieve. This has a couple negative side effects. First, it makes you start feeling like you'll only be happy when you finally achieve that goal. I know for myself, for years of my life, I always felt like I would only be happy when I finally reached 180 pounds. Now, luckily, I understand that line of thinking a bit better, and I have a bit healthier way of thinking. The other way it hurts you is that even if you do achieve your goal, then you're probably not going to keep up the habits that helped you achieve that goal in the first place. The example that I always go back to is the contestants on The Biggest Loser. If you're not familiar, it was a reality show here in the United States that had people lose a massive amount of weight in a short amount of time. It was a contest, basically. But the way that they lost a lot of the weight was through very strict training regimens and diets, so they did lose a lot of weight quickly, but the problem is that since that wasn't sustainable after the show was over, they wound up gaining back almost all the weight that they had lost. So what you should do is focus less on the goal you're trying to achieve and more on the identity that you want to have. The way I've been using that recently is focusing more on becoming a healthier person rather than focusing on losing 50 pounds. Focusing on achieving the identity of being a healthy person is not only helping me make better decisions that will help me lose weight and achieve that goal, but it's also helping me make better decisions that are helping my health in other ways. For example, getting more sleep, taking better care of my mental health, and things like that. As you start moving into the new year and start working on your resolutions, please don't forget to take care of yourself as well. I've had some things happen in my life in the past couple months that have made me realize the importance of self-care. For a few science-backed self-care tips, then check out this video right here. I'll be talking about the things that have happened to me and the things that I've learned in upcoming videos. Speaking of which, I upload fresh sciencey goodness every Saturday morning, so click right here to subscribe and make sure you catch them, and I'll see you in the next one.